Hello everyone, this is the Raven's Librarian, here to bring you my playthrough of Warhammer 40k's Dawn of War. For those of you who already know stuff about this setting and might be curious, just on the off chance, is my name isn't a joke related to the setting, but I did very consciously choose this game in regards to that joke. But like I said, it's not actually the source of my name, but regardless, I actually picked this game for a number of reasons. One of which is that it has a lot of nostalgic value for me. It was actually my first entry point into the Dawn of War setting, and I'm curious if it's a similar story for any of you out there. I think I know of one other person who had a similar experience, but I'm just curious to find out. Anyway, I can see I have played this game before, though I'm by no means an expert. I played this game on the lowest difficulty possible. As you can see. That said, I will be going through it fairly quickly, apparently, since I at least know what to expect. Apologies for the sounds you may be hearing right now. Got a plane going over my head. Still haven't quite figured out how to avoid annoyances like that. Here we have the Orks fighting the Guardsmen. Pretty standard fare, except the Guardsmen suck at melee. Yeah, maybe what they shouldn't be doing.
Hold the line! In the name of the Emperor, you will not falter!
No, they seem to be faltering.
We can't hold! Run for your lives! Cowards. You will fight, or you will die.
40k, so they'll probably do both.
I am Captain Gabriel Angelos of the Blood Ravens 3rd Company. Status.
My lord, forgive me. We have done all we can to stop the Orks, but we have failed. My men's lives are yours.
You stood your ground in the face of the Emperor's foes. You've done your duty. If your men have failed you, I will leave their judgment in your hands.
Thank you, my lord.
I am not here for your thanks. This port must be held if we are to maintain troops and supply lines to the planet's surface. That is why we are here. Now, what of the wounded and the civilians?
Stranded. We have few ships.
Then you shall have more. All Blood Raven flights execute Protocol 23 and initiate civilian evacuation. We will dispatch the ground forces.
Yes, my lord.
Ground forces, my lord. But the Orks have retreated.
You must know your enemy to defeat them, Colonel. Orks only retreat to regroup. They will keep coming until you or they are dead.
For them, either one's a win-win.
Brothers, let us destroy this alien filth.
Thing that I took for granted during my original playthrough of this game, because like I said, I didn't know anything about the setting, was just how noble
What a glorious day for a battle. As the stronghold, Our frontline
Take
battle
it home.
headquarters is currently being assembled. We should proceed with caution until it is finished.
Could do that.
We must start capturing strategic points. These 3 closest strategic points will do for now. Let us capture them first, and then
Take
move
and
on
hold.
to the others. Splendid. The stronghold is complete.
Here
We
to
must now
serve.
set about establishing a proper frontline base.
I will do as you ask.
What I mean by that is, in most settings, you know, the hero would be the guy who tries to look out for the little guy. And
The first thing we need is a
Capture.
chapel barracks.
Faith is
That
our
will allow
shield.
us to call down more Space
Orders
Marine
received,
squads.
brother.
that would be this. Normally the hero looks out for the little guy, you know, protects the innocent and all that stuff, and you know that you can see the Blood Raven.
Excellent.
These guys.
The chapel
For the
barracks is
Emperor.
finished.
Onward
Now you
to
can build some
glory.
more Space Marine squads.
Take it heavy fire.
They do worry about that stuff, but that actually makes them an exception rather than the rule in 40K.
None shall stop us.
Yes, most beneficent one.
I have no idea.
If we are to defeat these
I will
orcs,
do
we will
as you
need to
ask.
call in some special weapons. We must build an armory to get access to them.
Yeah, keep cutting me off. If I don't know if any of you are actually new to the 40K setting. This is actually your first introduction to it. It was for me. It's so welcome. But suffice to say that Space Marines, though they're meant to be like the mainstream figurine hero archetypes for the player, they are by no means the stereotypical good guys.
Excellent.
That other
The
thing.
armory is operational. The Space Marine squads can now upgrade their standard bolters to flamers and heavy bolters. The mutant, the heretic.
Stay vigilant, brothers.
Like for them, like looking out for civilians
hold.
and
We must not forget our power needs. Building a plasma generator will supply us with the power we need to keep our force going.
Fine. I swear he doesn't cut off nearly
I
as much in the
await
other
your
missions.
instructions.
I mean, it's a tutorial, so I guess it makes sense. It's really annoying.
Initializing protocol. Yes, most beneficent one. Here to serve.
Like the act of looking out for the little guy is pretty out there.
With all due
Quote
haste.
unquote Space Marine chapters are concerned.
Objective achieved.
Well done. We have captured several strategic points. Capturing
Beware the
strategic
alien.
points and building listening posts on them earns us more requisition
My
resource,
aim
which
shall
we
not
can
falter.
use when we
Squad
build
deployed.
squads and equipment. Plasma generators will continue to produce power at a constant rate, but there is a limit of how many plasma generators can be built per stronghold. It is time to hunt down the source of these orcs. They must have a base somewhere within the walls of this Imperial facility. But where? Look! An orc camp. And look there! A break in the spaceport's defensive
Marine
wall.
squad deployed.
They must have blasted their way in. We must destroy this orc camp and any others these foul creatures may have constructed.
Awaiting orders.
Like you see it at the beginning with the intro cutscene to the game. With Space Marines are the ones, you know, fighting the good fight, you know, doing their best, having the big dramatic charge of the line, trying to like leap the hill. Meanwhile, the Orks are the savage boots, you know, fighting to kill them.
Maintain attack formation.
And because this was my first entry point into the setting, I just sort of took a lot of this for granted. That Space Marines were the good guys, the Orc guys, the
Excellent.
bad guys.
The point is now protected
Awaiting
from an
orders.
orc retaliation. We should
Stay
continue
vigilant,
to build
brothers.
listening posts on all our captured points.
At your
Excellent.
command.
This orc camp
We
has been
stand ready.
destroyed.
And like as the game goes on, there's like a few more hints at to like what's actually more of the norm in the 40K setting. But even that being said, I still think that this game is
Direct us to the
somewhat deliberately made
What's your order?
for people who don't have that much experience with 40k. Like,
Awaiting
they
orders.
avoid
What would
a
you
lot
have
of
me
the
do?
more
Moving out.
obscure concepts, or high concepts actually, because they sort of hint
While
at
the
stuff,
enemies
but
of
they
the
don't.
Emperor still draw breath.
Those
there can
Imperial
be no
Guardsmen look like they
peace.
could use some assistance. Come, brothers, make haste.
Our prayers have been answered. Here come the Space Marines!
Taking
I
hits.
might already have beat this point down with head force, but like I said, in most cases for the Space Marines, like
We
what
are
happens to
the
the Imperial Guard
Guard. It is time we started acting like it.
Claim it in the name of
is
the
put
Emperor.
right alongside what happens to civilians for Space Marines, which is not my problem.
Objective achieved. Moving out. Moving out. Fear our wrath. Attacking as ordered. Taking damage.
Regroup!
Orders received, brother. Weapons at ready. It is time.
Sorry for not talking. Just I'm not sure where I should go with the conversation. Part of it is I don't want to jump ahead too much on the off chance that the person watching
For the
actually
glory of the
doesn't
Imperium.
know all that much about 40k, so I don't want to lose track and confuse them with all the random references I might make.
Commencing attack.
But obviously there's a chance that people watching this are already fans of 40k, and so they probably know more stuff than I do.
None shall stop us.
We're going to talk about the game, but like I said, I'm not actually all that confident in my gameplay skills in this game. So, there's not really much I could say. Other than, my opinion. Oh yeah, forget this thing's always here. Like, I'm guessing that this thing probably meant to, like, get fixed on the harder difficulties, so you don't hurry, or, regardless, like, you'll wind up here and you'll have to fight that tank. And, without the anti-weapons that the game gives you, fight those things.
We will crush the enemies
Well,
of
that's
the
the thing I'm
Imperium.
talking about, like, the weapon options, that the character mentioned, this, basically, it is what he said, there are weapons that give you alternative options. This weapon focuses on breaking morale, flamer, and that's the red guys. Blue dudes, I've given them all, like, heavy focus. Basically, it's a type of a gatling.
Strategic
It's
point
way more OP
identified.
than that, but suffice to say, it's basically a gatling gun.
Initiating attack protocol 23.
I'll leave these two for future sentences. Like I said, not sure if I should
Taking heavy
tackle
fire.
this for newbies or people who are, 40k. For those of you who actually might enjoy what I'm doing here, please in the comments down below, share your thoughts.
Regroup!
Let me know. Would you want me to talk about
Understood.
the stuff that's in the game? Maybe focus more on, like, my experience, having played it for the first time, what I can remember.
Stay vigilant, brothers.
Or do you rather want to talk about something specific about 40k?
No,
Whether it's
just
in this
stars.
game or, you know, conveniently avoided.
Hold on, then! There's work to be done!
Stay vigilant, brothers. Orders received.
Okay, and I should explain. So, the
Objective
flamer,
logged.
red weapon, that basically focuses on breaking morale. Morale is just the thing that keeps enemies and your own units from sticking together. I don't know the full scope of it, but essentially it makes it high morale, and obviously the enemy is confident, you know, they're gonna hold their ground. If you break their morale, that tends to cause the AI to break off and flee, or, you know, they stop acting intelligently, for lack of a better word. This the heavy bolter, the Gatling gun, basically it's for taking out smaller units, and a lot of them. So if your enemy is mostly just trying to overwhelm you with numbers, the blue weapon, the heavy bolter, that's the way to go.
For the Emperor! Orders received.
I'm sure there's like strategies regarding, you know, what the best combinations of it is. As you can see, my main strategy tends to be just give one squad a specific type of weapon.
Strategic point
Just because from my
identified.
experience, it seems that if they all have the same weapon, they tend to actually use them efficiently, at least as much as the AI can. That being said, I'm giving these guys the flamer,
Excellent. This orc camp has been destroyed.
if you say so, and just because on the off chance that it might actually be useful, and I'm on lower difficulty, so it doesn't really affect too much, but from my experience, the flamer isn't as useful as the heavy bolter. So like if I was doing this just for myself, I'd probably give all the units the heavy bolter, at least in this mission. Like in future missions, similar thing happens, but with this one. And if by some odd chance there's like a pro player from this game who's watching and cringing at my incompetence, please be respectful, but don't be shy about what I'm doing.
Mission accomplished.
I am more
Orders
than happy
received,
to receive
brother.
feedback, both in how I might be better able to present this, or in just how I could be playing better.
Fear our wrath.
I mostly play this just for fun. That's why I played on the lowest difficulty, but
Under fire.
By my command, attack!
there's nothing wrong with getting a little bit of
For the glory of Imperium.
Speaking of weapons, if you like have no context for 40k, you might be wondering why this dude is running around with a sword.
Objective acquired.
But basically, he's obviously super skilled, and you know, yes, it's not a real sword in the traditional sense. You know, it's got some special metal, special material, so that it can do stuff that you wouldn't be able to do with a basic sword. Same thing actually with a lot of their weapons. Like for the sake of, you know, explaining it, you know, this is a flamethrower, this is a Gatling gun, but they're so whatever a flamethrower or a Gatling gun could do in the real world, these things are way more powerful than that. For the sake of simplicity, sure, that is what they are, but this guy's not wielding just a sword. Same way they're not wielding modern day normal weapons. You know, everything these guys use is
Captured.
super powerful and super deadly.
Weapons at ready. It is time.
Actually, big point that these guys, like, they're mostly gonna be getting killed in these games. Quite frankly, that's kind of their job. They're glorified meat shields, but
Charge.
in their hands, the thing that they all have might be a joke compared to what these guys wield,
The
stat
enemy
wise,
is
you know,
attacking.
efficiency wise. But if these guys
Reporting for
went up
duty, sir.
against regular modern day weaponry, Yeah, they would sweep the stuff.
Objective logged.
And this same logic applies. This is a tank for all intents and purposes. That's what it is. That's what it's used for. That's how you can, associate it. But compared to a real tank in the modern day, this thing is far more efficient, far more powerful, far more deadly. That's the idea. Everything's sci-fi, so certain concepts you can easily understand what's going on. In other things, but just take it up to 11 in terms of how deadly it is and how efficient it
The
is.
area is
Await
secure.
your instructions. I shall obey.
Praise the Emperor. By my command, attack!
Speaking of things you guys might enjoy, if you prefer to watch the actual combat sections, if that's what you enjoy, you want me to actually show you the fights between the AI, my guys and the AI, do let me know. I have a tendency to just ignore them and just run around my screen checking on all the things I'm doing, especially on other missions. But if you prefer to watch this part, like I said, please leave it down in the comment section, and I'll be sure to, in future videos at least, try my best to
Initiating attack protocol 23.
show as much of it as possible. I play this for fun, but I wouldn't be recording this if I didn't want other people to see it. So, if other people want to see, what I'm gonna do.
Ever vigilant.
For the Emperor.
Initiating attack protocol 23.
And speaking of the Space Marines having a lot of super tech, they kind of buried over there. Is due to the sword. Same idea being that Space Marines, while they, for the sake of this game, they don't overemphasize the difference. You still saw it at the beginning. It's like Imperial Guard fight these things, and they're getting cursed on. Space Marines walk in, complete reversal of fortunes. They suddenly are the ones with the advantage. And that's an oversimplification, but for the sake of the narrative role of both groups, of the three groups, I mean to say, it is pretty accurate. Imperial Guard are the normal human grunts. They've got skill, they know how to fight, they're not actually incompetent, they're just comparatively, they don't have the same advantage. They're the normies, whereas Space Marine, they're the superheroes of the set. The Superman. Accurate. Like I said, not heroic in the tradition. But that's the whole idea. So even though they don't emphasize it too much in the game, it's not very much. So Space Marines are not normal humans. That's why they're able to do this. Because they're not wearing regular armor like the Imperial Guard are. They're wearing super armor and super weapons.
Initiating attack protocol 23.
Are the normies, Space Marines are the big guys. As for the Orks, they kind of blend into the two. For this game, we're mostly going to be dealing with the low tier stuff. They're stuck to a planet.
None shall stop us.
There, that's the last of them. Well done, Blood Ravens. Victory is ours.
Wait, there's one left. Oh, there he is.
I am honored to be in the presence of a librarian. I wish to know how my men can better serve you. We shall wait for the captain to finish his prayers. I saw you stand against the Orks. You are a brave man, Colonel. I wish I could say the same of your men. I shall strengthen their resolve, my lord. See that you do, or we shall do it for you. You have something you wish to say. Say it, Colonel. How did you know? even without my psychic gifts. It is obvious. Speak. Is it true your company eradicated a heresy on the planet of Cyrene recently? An exterminatus, down to the planet's last man, woman, and child? Colonel, your company is welcome, but such questions are not. Do not ask the captain about Cyrene if you intend to remain in his good graces. Brother Captain, the Colonel wishes an audience with you.
Thank you, Isidore.
My lord, my Tartarus 37th Imperial Guard Regiment stand ready to serve you in protecting the city. They wish to make amends for...
They will have many opportunities to prove themselves warriors worthy of the Emperor. The Blood Ravens are leaving the city. Its protection is in your hands.
I will ready my men. May I ask what your next course of action is?
Orcs only respect strength. I intend to show them that we have it in ample supply.